Welcome everyone to another entry in the ongoing The Hand That Feeds HQ's review Advent Calendar 2021. And today I bring you a review of Soma Saito's Isana, song that was requested or suggested by Izachi on Twitter. So this is a song that I've already talked plenty about. I've actually analyzed it on an episode of Seiyu Lounge and have written plenty about how deep this song goes. This is not a really happy-go-lucky song. Actually, do not expect any of Soma Saito's songs to be happy-go-lucky, but it really is interesting, and I'll show you why. You are sinking. There's no way around it. And if you actually listened to the rest of the album, this is the end of one specific journey. I won't be going, or at least I won't be diving into any detail on that, because the album is extremely complex. But Isana is the end of a journey, the start of another. And you start to notice that due to the somber tone in this song. The piano notes are final, are solemn, and the sinking feeling that you have as you fade away, as you try to grab that spot of light in the water and you feel yourself sinking slowly and slowly, that light fading away from you. That's what you feel as you start to listen to In Bloom. The melody that is going on in the guitar, ta-na-na, ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na, it's dark. It is almost like a lullaby, but in a really dark way. Almost as if it is a farewell. The song sounds final. Those guitar riffs sound really, really dark and sad. There's sadness pouring through those notes. And now the vocals make their entrance, and it doesn't really help the case that you are fading away. Notice how Suma Saito's vocals go are in a way that sound like they are far, really far from you. They are muffled in a way and far. It's almost like the person is on the other side of the water as you sink, and they are almost sending you off. It's really, really weird, the sensation that you get from that part. The way singing is incredibly gentle, but it's so forlorn. It's dripping in sadness there, and the instrumental is slow, on purpose to make you feel that way. You start to feel the distance. You start to have those feelings sink in because there's not much to for you to focus on within this song other than the vocals, and the vocals are sending you off. The piano is almost like water dripping. Once again, the feeling of being in the water, being surrounded by water is there. The piano gives away that, with those notes being like ripples in the water or rain pouring down. The muffled vocals by Soma Saito that sound like you are almost inside of the water and is outside of that. That's that imagery that was created to make you feel something really unique, because this song is in itself pretty unique. The lyrics themselves are not long, are not complex like the other lyrics within the same album, which is a really weird contrast that adds to the weirdness of this song. At the same time, you have something that not many people may be aware of, that is, this song is shoegaze rock, which is to say, a song in the style of The Cure. Which is interesting because this is a really goth style for rock music. It requires a lot of pedals if you are playing a guitar, because you need to have a lot of effects between delays, distortions, and any other type of additions that you can have to make it sound dreamy and distant. So that's pretty interesting. Once again, shoegaze rock adds to that feeling of distance, of sadness, of loneliness, of being left out, of being sent away. That's a good way to flesh out that story going on in the lyrics. It's a good way to complement the rest that is going on in the composition. I was talking about the piano back then, and I was talking a bit about other details. Now, the song as a whole, embracing shoegaze rock, comes full circle. The focus is on making the song sound solemn, make it emotional, but not make a big fanfare about being emotional. So you have a song that will sink skin deep and will make you stop and think, which is something really common with Soma Saito songs, because they may sound simple at times, but his compositions and lyrics usually will make you stop and think, because if something is too bright, is performing in a completely different note on the vocal end. If the instrumental is really dark, you need to try to understand the context within the lyrics. They may have a second meaning, they may have a different intention, and in this case the song sounds like a lullaby. The sounds of water or the imagery of water may sound like you are drifting away, but the way the song is being performed sound like you are dying. So there's really a different twist to everything that is going on in this song, and that's why this is one of those songs that I really like to enjoy not commenting, which is interesting because it deserves to be fully listened to time and time again, and you need to let those emotions sink in. You need to let Soma Saito tell you that story. You need to experience that punchline. You need to feel like you are sinking so that you can be reborn. And Isana really does that really well. Soma Saito's composition really is stellar. I wasn't expecting this kind of song from him. I was expecting something dark. Of after all, his songs are really dark, but I wasn't expecting something to go take this turn. And this was an unexpected turn, a really welcomed one, because I do love shoegaze rock, and The Cure are one of my favorite bands, so you have that as well. So to find this type of music on this side and find him embracing something this dark and not being afraid to go really dark with the lyrics is something that really impresses. Really, there's no other way to explain it. It really impresses you, and if you're not a fan, or even if you are a fan, you'll notice that he took his artistry a step further, a couple of steps further with Isana. This is clearly the best song in the album, and I dare say the best song performed by a male seiyuu up until now. There's nothing like this out there. There's no song out there that will make you feel this way. Of course, if you don't like this kind of almost depressive stuff, of course you won't agree with me that this is the best song performed by male seiyuu up until now. That's okay. But this really is, in terms of artistry, composition, lyrics, even the way the song is presented to you, and how much the song needs for you to follow the story so that you can feel everything and get that sense of dread and sadness. And actually, this is a song that will make you cry if it is the very first time you listen to it. Actually, if it is the very first time that you are listening to it, please do not listen to my analysis first. Please go listen to the song first and then come to my analysis, because this song deserves to be listened from start to finish with no interruptions. Even that bass line that is really, really low gives that sense of sinking. Notice. Yeah. Let's go. Of that melody that goes on, that is the motif of the song, and you have those notes going on, ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na, that those chords that are going on, that are with you since the very start and will accompany you throughout this 8-minute song, and you never get sick of those. But you start to think, are those the ones that are taking me to the other side? But there's so much subtext, there's so much going on in the instrumental that may not come across to you as something that really stands out, but there's really a lot going on in the background, especially with all the effects going on in the guitars that give away more of the story, or more of what is happening to you in the background. way this song works is really, really interesting because you have these distorted parts. Those distorted parts are going on in the guitar, and it really is impressive how much of a sense of confusion it adds to you. But you have that hope that is going on in the lyrics. You are in gloom. So you're not really dying, you're killing a part of yourself and starting again, or starting from that point on, which is really, really interesting. Let's go, those high notes. Beautiful. So you're not really necessarily thinking, you are thinking a part of you. Of course you will be feeling something because you are thinking a part of you, no? So, but you are starting a new chapter. And Isana is actually death and rebirth in the same place. Something that you only realize when you reach this part. And now the send-off that is basically doing la 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 la, that is really sending you off in a lullaby. Listen to those guitars screaming in the background. This is as raw as you can get in a Suicidal song. Well, you can still surprise us and release something even rawer than this song, but this is as raw as it can get. This song really, really. Just goosebumps all over me. This song, no matter how many times I listen to, is always goosebumps. There's no other way to actually tackle this song. You simply have to listen to it from start to finish. You need to let those emotions sink in. You need to analyze those or come to grips with those and actually fully understand the song. You don't need to make an effort to do so. I didn't analyze the lyrics, as you could tell right now. But you listen to the instrumental and the way it progresses, it seems like it is always the same structure. The verses repeat themselves, the chorus repeats itself, But actually, the song is evolving. There's always different elements being added in the background that you barely notice because the focus is basically stolen away from those and put on the vocals. But when there are no vocals, you notice that those elements are there and they weren't there to begin with. So you are adding new things. So the song actually has two massive parts. The beginning, the saying goodbye to a part of you, to saying goodbye to a memory of you. And the second part, the new beginning, because you died and you're reborn. And that's something really, really beautiful and impressive about Isana, is how Saito actually incorporated both themes within a song that is as depressive and decadent as you could get. It is a song that is emotionally raw. The lyrics do not have anything flashy or anything too complex. His performance is far from being complex or insanely technical like in the other songs within the album. So we made those things simple. You will understand the lyrics, there's no hidden meaning. You will connect with those vocals because those sound normal, those sound like a lullaby to you. It sounds like someone is talking to or for you. And it really goes to show how an idea can come to fruition through a music genre that is usually not used or incorporated by 2D music projects or even Seiyu artists. You have shoegaze rock. I have never ever heard any 2D music project or any Seiyu artist performing shoegaze rock until Soma Saito did. So you have that. He brought shoegaze rock for a very specific purpose. Not also because he likes the music genre, but for a very specific purpose. This was the music genre that could tell this story. You couldn't pull off this story in any other music genre. It wouldn't connect with you this well. It wouldn't bear those emotions in the way it did. You could have it in a ballad, but would it make the same impact? It wouldn't. Even if you were lullabying someone in a ballad, it wouldn't have that impact. It's the sum of all parts in this song that make it as impressive as it is. This is a really, really impressive piece, both on the composition side and on the lyrics side. Regardless if you are a fan of or not of Soma Saito's work as a solo artist, you really got to give it to him that he's really a spectacular singer-songwriter, and he really does know how to create a story, put it in lyrics and music format, and tell it to you. And regardless if you know how to read Japanese or even understand Japanese, you will feel those feelings through the song. And that's exactly what he does in Isana. That's why it is his best song to date. That's why it is a song that I always recommend you to check. Of course, I do recommend you to check Vampire Weekend as well, from the same album. But it's a really, really specific and completely different vibe comparison to this song. Still, Isana is a beautiful song, a terrific composition, a fantastic work by the guest guitarists that worked on this song to basically to flesh out that true shoegaze rock sound that I absolutely love to find on The Cure's music, and now I can also find in Soma Saito's music. So if you haven't checked Soma Saito's Isana up until now, and this was actually your first time coming across this song, this wasn't the best way to come across this song, because you really need to fully experiencing it from the very first time without anyone telling you the story. That's the best way for you to actually understand how genius this song is, not by finding someone explaining to you what this song is all about. Still, if you check this video of my interpretation or analysis of Isana by Soma Saito, song included in his second full-length album In Bloom, released in 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you very much for Izachi for the suggestion, because this is absolutely one of my all-time favorite songs ever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next entry.